This year we tried out, and we want to do this year too, a panel discussion where we address your questions. We always think, how is the best way to do that? And this time we collected the questions on Twitter, and there were two sets of questions that came. The one set is very, very technical, and I understand you guys are a very technical crowd, also business people, but technical, and they're not easy to be answered here from the stage. You know, it would be yes or no answer. So we kept them out, but if you submitted a question, it is not here, approach us. We would like to talk to you in a small setting and help you understand our strategy and the answer to that question going forward. There's some other scope that we want to address, and because we did not know how to expect it, we thought there would be many, many questions. We reserved half an hour, but we only got a few. So we will address these questions now with the panelists, and then we asked Bryan Cheung to deliver a final keynote today, and I'm really looking forward to that as well. So Luca, maybe we can see the first question. Okay, the first question is directed at Bryan. Are you guys thinking about dropping ant in favor of more modern building blocks like Cradle or Maven?
We have some internal implementations of Maven, as far as I'm aware. I read a blog by a guy named Neil Ford. He's well respected in the software community. And I think the title was something like, why everyone who uses Maven eventually hates using Maven. So I think there are some problems with Maven, which it's probably beyond me to understand why it's good and why it's bad. There's two things I would have to say about it. One is that I think with our move to OSGI, some of the benefits that Maven provides will also be provided by OSGI. The second is that if this is something you're very, very, very passionate about, the best thing you can do is to actually implement it yourself, or to sort of, you know, create a beta or like a proof of concept and then show it to Liferay, because I think the culture of our engineering team is very results driven. If you show something that works, then they will consider it for.
Also, I would like to add that independently of what we use inside Liferay, our general strategy is not to force certain technology to anyone, right? And because of that, that is why we have started investing on these technologies. There's already Maven support as part of Liferay Studio, the new version. And regarding Gradle, we are using it internally already for mobile projects. So we are supporting it, and we are encouraging our market to use it. I mean, we use Ant internally for historical reasons, but we allow our community to use them. And we know that there are several big customers using Maven, so we're open to it.
Okay. The next question comes from Daniel Baggio. Can I use audience targeting to change user landing page after login? Maybe Juan, you want to take a stab at that one?
I don't have an answer for
You don't have an answer, okay.
But I can contact Daniel. Are you there, Daniel? No?
No, okay.
Okay, I can contact him.
Oh, you didn't even wait for the answer.
He's gone. Okay, he asked the question, he's gone. Okay. So if you have a question about audience targeting, you like what you saw today, you can contact me, and I know that Brian Schuler also is someone who can answer a couple questions. See me after this talk, and we can connect you there, especially with the people that are not here, but that can help you go into details. The next questions are, how will the marketplace change with the OSGI adoption? Could I buy only a particular feature of a component?
I would say it's a qualified yes. So I think what the question is asking is, could you actually have a marketplace of OSGI services? And this is definitely something that we've thought about. We've also thought about how to have possibly utility back-end computing services. So in my opening keynote, I talked about supporting things like Angular and Backbone. A lot of these front-end developers who prefer HTML and JavaScript, they don't want to bother with a lot of back-end stuff. And so one of the things that Liferay is exploring is, could we provide some kind of a cloud-based back-end services platform that a front-end developer could access, and then we could maybe charge those services based on usage. And so in that situation, if you're a developer of one of those back-end services in the marketplace, I can totally see that being commercialized and being charged on a per usage basis.
Okay, the next question also from the same person. Many big ICT vendors are revitalizing inbox. What are Liferay's plans about email? Juan or Bryan and or Bryan?
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah, okay. So I happen to know about this too because I'm very passionate about this topic. We're going to try to recreate Google Wave. It's open source. No, just kidding. We are looking at a thing that we're calling conversations. And it's the idea that, so you may or may not have used workflow engines. You might have used workflow in Liferay. You might have used Liferay's content management publishing workflow. The concept is that all of these things ultimately are conversations. The writer writes the article, and by submitting it to the workflow, they're basically saying to their editor, here's an article I wrote, could you approve it, right? Conversely, a lot of email conversations are actually workflows. So if one of our salespeople, or let's just say Luca, he has a deal and he wants to give a discount to a customer. Luca basically attaches the order form, emails Joe, and says, this is what's going on. Is it okay if we give a discount? He says no, and then gets rejected, goes back to Luca. He makes another thing, and then there's another exchange, and finally Joe says, okay, you can have the discount. And that's typically an email conversation, but it's more or less an informal business process or a workflow. So what we're trying to do with Liferay is, in Liferay 7, we want to create conversations. It's going to unify some of the in-portal workflow capabilities, as well as the informal conversations that people have that are like email. But we're not going to try to replace email per se, but we're trying to make certain conversations that are very well integrated into portal processes in a new interface that's very email-like. So if you're interested in that, or if you have ideas, you can talk to me, you can talk to Juan, you can talk to Cheung, our VP of product, because we'd love to hear from you about that.
Okay. The last question is there a roadmap or plan for a service layer to integrate a Liferay ECM, commercial ECM, as Oracle, IBM, EMC Square, etc.?
Okay. So as I mentioned before in our previous talk, Liferay is thought as a tool to integrate, right? All our architecture is based on services, and it's well thought for integrating. We know many integrators and customers are integrating with services like this one, and we are completely open to it. I don't think we have plans to integrate any of these tools right now, but that's what the marketplace is for.
Questions, but since Joe didn't have an answer at all, I have a question for him. Joe is the Director of Operations in Europe, and Joe, this is the 5th Liferay Symposium here in Italy. Maybe you could talk generally about the Italian market, what you like about it, what are the challenges, anything that you want to say to that.
The Italian market has always been a big adopter of open source and Liferay. Since for the last 5 years, we've had a huge turnout at these symposiums, and it's been great just to hear about what everybody's doing on Liferay, all the different use cases that they have with the portal. I think one of the things that have changed or I noticed about this year was, as you all know, we put a lot of effort and time into building up the marketplace over the last few years. You've probably heard me speak about it at a past event about what we're doing with Marketplace. And one of the things I heard a lot about this time, or this year, was just the number of ISVs, independent software vendors, that are now building solutions on top of Liferay and are very excited to be able to showcase their work on the Marketplace. And I think that that's great because not only is Liferay being used for the typical use cases that we all know it's great for, like intranets, customer-facing portals, but now we're hearing about apps and for specific industries like insurance People are building out, insurance workflows, plugins for Liferay. They're building out, mobile apps where you take pictures of issues that you see around the city, and then you're able to upload that into, a plugin or a module in Liferay, so that you can display this information. I think this was a government use case. But yeah, so it's just exciting to see all the different things that people are starting to do on the portal, and it just kind of validates, our approach and all the time and effort we put into marketplace and modularizing the way that Liferay is architected.
Thank you, Joe. And that concludes our panel discussion. As we announced at the beginning of the day, we'll have a special present for the best question. And since we only had 5 questions and just several people, it was a very easy decision for us, but we'll wait for that until later. Okay? So right now, you guys who submitted questions have a little bit of attention to spare. But right now, we'd like to do 2 things. Thank you to the panelists for participating in this discussion, and announce Bryan Cheung for the